Good evening. My name is Ruben Sebastian Matos. I'm making a small video, trying to condense it to get to some key points to achieve some information that can encourage those who've been asking me, family members and friends, to teach them a little bit about addictions. What I mean by addictions, today there's many addictions, but we're going to be briefing on drug addictions. Legal, illegal drugs, and liquor. By the way, which is the most dangerous drug of them all. We're going to start off with something so powerful. Remember what I'm about to discuss with you. The first part, faith. In the scriptures, it talks about faith. And you know what it says here? What good is faith if there's no action to back it up? And it gives you the example of if you know someone that needs food, clothing, and help, and you tell them, oh, well, good luck, I hope things go well, I hope someone feeds you, and you walk away. So your faith has no power. See, people confuse faith by them waiting for things to happen, and the Lord made it clear. Faith without deeds, action, is dead. That's what we're going to review, because this is the main foundation, and this is the heart of what happens with people who suffer from the disease of addiction. Now, a little bit about addictions. There's all type of addictions. There's legal addictions, singers, rappers, dancers. There's people that get addicted to something. They become great at it. Externally, they have to perform and over and over physically. But there's a dark side to addiction. That's the addiction where you take something through here and that starts to create an obsession. A disease called the disease of addictions. Now, if you're a family member or friend, co-worker, parent, son, and someone is suffering from the disease of addiction, may this revelation start to heal you as you learn. Because people are applying the wrong methods trying to help others. Now, simple. The disease of addiction, it starts at a young age. But most likely, in the 20-something years in my studies, there's all kind of. It varies from ages, but let's say from 8 to 13 along the way there. And then there are those kids that get addicted momentarily and then they stop. But there are those that fall victim to it and they start that mountain. Now, what happens to them, to brief on it, very important when I'm about to brief. I try to condense it because there's a lot. It's simple. When there's a risk and a rush in children and adults, but let's talk about the addiction. When they know they're not supposed to do something and they do it anyway, or they sneak to do it. There's a rush in doing something you're not supposed to do. By the way, that's one level of addiction. So the moment a child or a teenager picks up the disease for the first time, let's say liquor, marijuana, but we'll start with liquor. Now, they're already told as a child, and it's common sense, they've seen family members, they've heard, oh, that guy has a drug problem, that guy has a drinking problem. They heard of this, but they don't understand it. So the moment they're encountered and they offer it, or they're curious and they take in, right? There's a rush. They get a rush because they know they're not supposed to do it. Anyway, they do it. Let me get to the point, because I can write books, and there are books written about them. By the way, This is a powerful book too if you want to learn about the disease of addiction. I got a library. I built a library from my studies and my dedication helping others. So what happens is that the moment they rush and they take it in, something happens. They go into the first time out of body experience. They experience the euphoric feeling. You know, wow. By the way, it's a powerful feeling. Imagine, so powerful people get hooked on it. We call it numbing out. You see them in the corners, people numb like this. You see the alcohol, the thing like this. You see the social weekend warrior drinking at the clubs, at the sports, at the parks, in their house. You know, they don't realize it, but they seek because they got accustomed to that euphoric feeling. But let's talk about teenagers. What happens is that you seen the commercial, and when they have a pot and they put 2 eggs and they crash and they say these are eggs. No, this is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs, and they start frying it. Yeah, what happens is that your mind has a defense system. It has many defenses, many dormitories, and then when you start to ingest something that the body's not used to and it's against it, the defenses go up, but it creates a euphoric feeling because you're frying your brains. Now, what happens is that moment you do that and you continue to do it, you start to break down your mind. I call it in the realms that I teach, when you break into your own mind and your mind is broken. Doesn't mean it can't be fixed. But what happens is that we human beings, we have a zeal to achieve. We have a zeal to believe. We have faith as we grow up, that we're going to do good if we apply action. See, we apply an action. Read a book, finish a book, take a test, pass the test. Take a sport, practice a lot, achieve, become good at it. So what happens is that person who's falling the first levels of addiction, they start to, they just try something they're not supposed to try. They know it. They didn't get caught, and nothing happened. Well, I didn't hurt nobody. See, because it starts like that. The mind starts to rationalize. It completely forgot what they were taught as child. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't hang around that person. Don't drink with this person. We're talking about from 10 and up. So today, we're talking about. So what happens is that as they continue, if you're a parent, if you're a brother, if you have friends, you see changes in them. They're little changes, but they're major. Because what happens is that in your mind is the most powerful computer God has created. That's right. Not evolution, that God has created. Another book, another topic. But your mind defends itself, and it has many departments. And it has a department where you have neurons, transmitters, receptors, and endorphins. Endorphins are the ones I'll brief on real quick. Endorphins are the cells that bring healing to the body, make you feel good, brings you joy. When you're joyful mood, when you're happy, when you're sad, the endorphins are released. What happens is that you start to trigger that. So the endorphins get confused, and they're not happy. They're not coming down naturally. So you're creating a fake feeling of thinking you're feeling good. Let me move on, because we can write books on that. But that's what's happening in the person's mind. Now, what you get to see with them in the end, as years go by, this person, they stop. They start to stop enjoyable things like sports, learning, achieving goals. You can see, if you're a parent, you see them in your child. And then they start to justify it. They start justify it because of this, because of that, But what's happening in here is that their true joy is being diminished. And they're getting accustomed, addicted to that fake joy that they have to create when they take and drink They start to create. They don't realize it, but they're getting addicted to that pattern. They don't realize it, but slowly their behaviors start to change. Things that you saw that they like, they don't like no more. Now, by the way, depression, the root of all depression. Remember the word depression. Because now you even see them sad at times. You say, how could a young man, a young teenager or an adult be sad? Because they're struggling in here. Because it is depressing. Think about it. You're doing something against your will. You don't realize it, but you're doing something against your will. It doesn't really make you feel good. So you're at war here. And it's in your psychologics, in the memory, it's there. Wow, I let myself down. They don't tell no one, but they let themselves down. And when something goes wrong, there's a moment of reality, spur moment of reality. By the way, spur moment of reality is in a lot of books. They mention that. It's when they realize, wow, could it be because of this? Just a spur moment. Could it be because of this? And then they rationalize. So you know what happens? They start to lose faith in themselves. Remember how I started with faith? They start to lose faith. See, before they started this path, they knew they could achieve things and accomplish goals and progress as they grow up in life. But now, their faith is tampered with. They're not sure of themselves anymore. And they start to give up hope at young ages. Because the mind has been broken into and they're constantly breaking into it. By the way, the disease of addiction, hear me well, it's not only patterns, it's a way of life. They start creating a new way of life. They find people boring that are really exciting. Educators, motivators, scholars, parents. They find things that are so powerful boring. Because endorphins, the excitement, they've switched over to a dark excitement. They start to really get excited knowing when they're gonna get high, what day. We're talking about beginning stages, by the way. At the end, they control all that. That's every day. But they start to control their whereabouts. That happens because it comes to a point in, let's take a college student. You know what? High school student. So his grades are going down. He's hearing beef from his parents, or he's working, his job's boss say, yo, listen, you used to do this right, you're doing this wrong now. They start to hear things, and they try to rationalize things because basically they're making major mistakes because the mind is not focused. So after a while, simple things become complicated. Simple things become complicated. Now we're talking about the beginning stages, by the way. Now it comes to a point, let me rush this real quick because we can talk about that. If you're interested, please, if you have my number, send me a text. I'll send you another video. If you're starting to prepare and you're going to join this path of assisting others and not enabling them, another video called Enabling. But anyway, that's what happens to them. Or it gets worse. The moment they realize that it is, let's say, the guy realized, wow, you know what, I'm going to stop. No, I can't. They realize there's still a lot of levels of comprehension and power of authority in your own mind. Not your mind have authority over you. So, I got to stop. You know what? I'm not doing this no more. It is this. I can't go drinking with these guys every weekend because I end up drunk and I go to work late. My wife fights me. If it's a kid, wow, my grades are down. I don't want to get up. I'm sleeping late. You know, I'm staying up late. I'm waking up late. I'm falling asleep in class. You know, my family invites me out to family gatherings. I find them boring, all that. And any chance that they have, whoosh, they disappear. Where were you? I went away for a couple hours. They're being dragged by that obsession because nothing makes them feel good. You know why? Because they took what they believe. Look at children. They believe. You ask them, what do you want to be? I want to be a cop, a nurse, a doctor. They believe because their minds are strong. Their belief system is dying in themselves. They start to lose faith in themselves. And that's dangerous. Because what happens is that to them, is that they make many attempts to stop. And sometimes they don't tell other people. They're basically ashamed of it. Because they know that you've been warning them. You've been encouraging them. You brought them up. You gave them part of your life. You gave them part of your life. And you taught them. You said, look, this will break you. This will kill you and us. They don't discuss these things because, you know, that moment of reality, they'll say, wow, I can't tell mom. I can't tell mom. They've been telling me all my life. They don't know what to do. And these are good kids. Good human beings. But they try and it's too late. They're hooked. Oh, they're hooked. Because what it is that in their trying, they start to rationalize. You know, I'm not going to do it for 3 days. Let me start studying. They start studying. Sometimes you see growth of, you see mood swings. You know, some serious mood swings. And it's sad because, you know, mood swings are natural. If you're married and someone's driving you crazy, you know, if you have someone else that you're responsible for, you live together, you guys always have mood swings. You got to deal with each other. But imagine a person with mood swing at a young age. You know, your brain fried. Like your brain on eggs. Anyway, let's get back. So they try and then they can't stop. And they try and they try. You can. Thank you, Lord, for the mercy that He has upon us. Because trying and trying, but the point comes that they can't succeed. See? Hooked. Because they flip, whoop, and now they believe they can't. Dangerous. Extremely dangerous. They can't. So they don't realize it because there's a lot of things going on. So when they can't, the mind has to defend itself. It's like a criminal that gets caught. He can't admit he committed the crime. And if you catch him, put him in jail, he still doesn't realize he committed a crime. This is a powerful thing. You know what it says in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs? Do not lean upon this, but to trust in the Lord. Do not lean upon this, trust in the Lord. See, people think that this book is about religion. And it's not. It's about instructions. You see, these people that fall into addictions, well, actually, the whole human society. If you're not following instructions, boy, you're just destroying your path. And those who follow you and those around you. But anyway, let's get back to those who are victims or who suffer from the disease of addiction. Now they can't, so guess what? They surrendered. They put a flag up inside here. I can't. So that means now the mind has to create some type of defense system. So they tell themselves, okay, I won't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. Now they're no longer trying to stop. Now they accept it. And once you accept it, the disease festers. Because now your belief system, you threw it out the window. Well, they just discarded it. They're not focusing no more on that belief system. Because how could you believe and have faith? How could you conquer when your mind is broken into? You need your mind to succeed. See, that's the difference between external addictions and internal ones. Pills, most dangerous one. Please, if you need a video on pills, get ready. Oh, I've assisted many, 400 sessions assisting people in pill addictions. Take when they get happy, get one sad, one depressed, one angry, and joyful. I gotta go here. Oh my God, you got me upset. Take a pill. Oh wow, nice movie. Pop on a pill. Let's get back. So now that person accepted. So the mind creates a schedule. And now that they accept it, they're defeated. And you know what starts there? Depression. Oh, depression. The first levels of depression among young children, teenagers. You hear it in the news. Suicide. When you interview parents, drug problem. The belief system was stolen. The dark shadows of the evil one, which is mentioned here. Now, so now they struggle. Now the struggle starts with their lives start to change. They start losing grades, getting kicked out of school, bringing problems at home. They're frustrated. A lot of them don't want to retaliate to parents, so they go into deep depressions. A lot of them accept it, and you see them young. They're called weekend warriors. Wherever you go, they're participating, but they're actually getting high, drinking, popping pills, or smoking. Wherever they go, they that's their way of life. They built a calendar to defend. By the way, it's called denial, but it's called survival too. By the way, because think about it. I got this yarmulke on to celebrate the Shabbat on Fridays, which is tomorrow. So now, and they struggle. That's a struggle. I don't wish that upon no one. But it's a powerful struggle. Because in that daily struggle, we're talking about youth. But a lot of them, what happens is that they don't have faith. And if they have, it's this little, but they have no deeds. I'll give you an example. Oh, prepare yourself for this. Prepare yourself for this. If you break a finger, are you going to the eye doctor? No, really. Are you going to the eye doctor? No. You're going to a surgeon for your finger. You see, these people are misdiagnosed because a lot of parents are in serious denial. They don't know how to handle it. They already made enough effort, but they have no education. They have no deeds in their faith. They're waiting for them to change at home. Matter of fact, the majority of them are enabling them, and they don't even know it. Another topic, by the way. Remember, enabling. You can ask me, how am I enabling someone? Now, so what it is that, so now when you see, now, as they built that new schedule, and now they accepted that they can't stop. See, as the years go by, the progression, this gets worse. Because all the studies reveal it, that they go from one level to another level, to another level, to another level. They might go back down. I'll smoke. Oh, Mom, I'll stop smoking. Then they go drinking. Then from the drinking, they go to pill. And eventually they go back to the smoking. And then it's just hanging. And then they go to this. And then they go to that. Then they go to this. And years are going by. Years are going by. They're struggling at work. Some of them are kicked out at home. Some of them are in college, not doing too good, struggling. Some of them are in college. They're rich. And they go on forever getting high because whenever there's a problem, money gets them out the way. But it's not like that for the average Joe. So, but they're struggling. Now their minds are defeated at an early age. See, that's the disease of addiction. It's the progression that happens after they surrendered at a young age. Oh, I can do this now. Denial falls in. So their lives are basically, and then when you see them, if you're young, if you have any family members, it's hard to see joy in them. But you will see joy when they're on their way to cop or going to a party. You can see the thrill. It's like the thrill we have when we're going to go play sports, go to the movies, go to a wedding, to all that. So after a while, their minds are still struggling. Their spirituality, their feelings, they become schizophrenic. Not because they're schizophrenic. They just become schizophrenic. The emotions are jumping back and forth. They don't know what's real. You see, Jesus said, the truth shall set you free. But they don't know that about them. And people won't accept that when you see young kids. You say, my son's not an alcoholic. He just drinks on the week. Oh, yeah, he just smokes once in a while with his college friends. You know, yeah. The truth will set you free. When that person becomes and falls into the pit and starts seeking truth, that truth will set them free. Ready for this? That they have a simple problem. Because here goes, this is how we're blessed. Let me tell you how we're blessed. Now, a lot of them, you see them in the corners already at old age. Because they started at this. Remember, when you see all these people in the four corners, when you go back, if you interview them, you go back, they started at a young age. Well, you know, some started at an old age or married someone who's an addict. But it goes on and on and on. But anyway, here goes the good news. Here goes the sacred news. There is hope. Now remember, they're not in truth. They're in denial. Because the truth sets them free. Sets you free if you're going to participate in that path of truly assisting those who are suffering around you. Oh, big job. Sacred job. This kind of disease will destroy families, marriages. A third of the population in prison are good people. They just don't remember because they were high. Now here goes the great part of it. If you find yourself and you know someone and you're starting to understand what I'm talking about, we have a job. It's to get them to recovery. That's right. They need to start recovering from that. That's why there's always, you get, what is it? When you go for advice, make sure you get advice from the proper authorities. Would you take that person, you know, that's suffering, you take him to another state? Would you put him in another school? Would you get another job for him? That person needs to be in a setting. Now we're going to talk about that setting. Because here goes the sacred, greatest news. Because it's the hardest thing is to get them to recovery. Remember, because truth is hard. Truth is hard. To be a conqueror, we need the power of God. We need what? Faith first. And then we need to start doing action. The action of taking them to another state, another school? No. You want to get to the heart of the problem. Recovery. They need recovery. They need to recover. They need to go to detox. They need to go. If you're going to do it, if there's anything you're going to do, is to find someone or encourage them and win them over for them to step into that world. Because in that world, which is the most powerful world, broken people, they unify. Even the medical realms of science are baffled. How do people get clean when they gather in these programs called AA and AA? Think about it. Stop. Medical can't find an answer. Oh yeah, they did. Take a pill, you feel better. They're baffled. But yet, they cannot prove and mislead others and say that people don't get clean, because they do. They start new lives in this program called recovery. You know what happens at recovery? Let me tell you what happens at recovery. Oh, powerful. What a journey. Think about the biggest problem you've had. If you're still there, you're not doing nothing about it. But if you have conquered it, what did it take to conquer? First, faith, then action. If it's finances, right? If I have a financial problem, am I going to go to a fisherman to teach me how to fish? Huh? If I have a medical problem or health problem, I'm going to go to a science to learn about atoms? Huh? If I have an eye problem, a twitching on a disc, twitching, am I going to go to a foot doctor? See, that's the problem. Hear it, that's the problem. I want you to hear this. A lot of parents, teachers, people in positions that have authority, they place these people in the wrong placements. So when you come back and you see, they're even worse. Recovery. Bring them into the rooms. Make some phone calls. Intervention. Because once you allow that person to experience just a little bit in that world, they're at the right place. You see, in these places, they don't talk about, I'm sorry about that. They talk about everything. But everything has to do with your lifestyle and how you got there and why you fell to this and how you will rise. Think about it. They have books. They have these things called 12 steps. Powerful. Powerful. Even the churches now. I ran a couple of groups. Even the churches have these places at certain times of the day where people gather. People with 30 years on heroin, 50 on pills, Valiums, hookah, weed, you name it, they're clean today. They're clean today because of this process called recovery. This is to educate you. That's right. Now, those that you see scattered in the streets, you think they weren't helped? A lot of them can tell you about these places. Sad, right? How many families are ruined? This is a powerful disease. This will take you out and your family. Oh, it'll take you out. You see, coming back to when you dibble and dabble and you start to look the other way and not really believe in truth, you're lost. Now, the obsession, these people need to be taught. They need to be helped one-on-one. And these places, it happens there. That's the great news. People, millions are clean today because of these places. They're called recovery rooms, meetings. If you need some information on that, I'll be more than glad to tell you what happens there, or even pick you up, take you to a meeting. Because it's not the end. You know what's amazing? That people that recover have stronger minds than people that never did drugs. That's amazing. That's scientifically proven. Medically fact in their journals and data and researches.